Episode 134 of Australia's #1 marketing show. It's time for AG and I to talk about some very funny business. Plus, I share some marketing insights from my recent trip to Vietnam.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
G'day everyone, and welcome back to episode 134 of Australia's favourite marketing podcast. I am your host, Timbo Reid. Much more importantly, you are a motivated small business owner ready to crank out some great marketing, and we are brought to you by the very good folk at Net Registry who help get your online marketing sorted. And you need to get it sorted because you are who Google says you are. So if you are struggling with domain name registration, website hosting, website design development, search engine optimization, Facebook marketing, pay-per-click advertising, you name it, the guys at Net Registry will sort you out. Hey, and if you want an introduction directly to one of their online gurus, and I don't use that word lightly, I can introduce you to Sam. You can send me an email through the website, through smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, and you can have a chat to Sam, obligation-free, just to see where you're at with your online marketing. Otherwise, go to netregistry.com.au and they will get you sorted. Alrighty, guys, I am back from Vietnam. Oh, and by the way, welcome to everyone at the Flying Solo community. I am back from Saigon. Got back last night. Little bit weary, but also very excited. I went over there, if you didn't catch up with last week's episode before I left, went over there to give a talk for one of the Australian financial institutions. Spoke to a whole lot of their small business owners, customers, financial advisors in actual fact. And it went really well. Gave a 90-minute talk on the brave new world of marketing. In fact, it was titled How to Punch Way Above Your Marketing Weight, which is pretty much, what my passion is, showing small business owners how to do that. Went really well. 90 minutes, fully recorded, which I will be sharing with my deep dive mastermind members exclusively for the next couple of weeks, and then it will find its way into the Small Business Big Marketing Forum. So if you want to see or want to at least hear me, it wasn't videoed, it was the audio recording will be available in the Small Business Big Marketing Forum, which is the best $49 a month you are ever going to spend on your business. I go in there every day, answer marketing questions, and have discussion with you, the listeners, to help grow your marketing. So watch out for that. Suggest you join the forum. Now, I want to share some lessons, some marketing lessons from my time in Saigon. There were many. I intend to do a bit of a blog post about this at some point in time once I recover from what is a full-on week. Gee, it's a different city. It is just everything, like I live in Melbourne, Australia. Everything Melbourne isn't, Saigon is. And I don't say that in a bad way. It's just like it's amazing when you go to a culture that's completely different to your own. Let me share some lessons from being over there. Number one, 1%ers, the 1% rule. The Vietnamese people were so good at delivering 1%ers. Those little things that make such a big difference in your business offering. I'll give you some examples. They served this beautifully presented lemon tea wherever you went with any order. You order a coffee, you get a lovely chilled glass of lemon tea. You order lunch, you get a lovely chilled glass of lemon tea. Sometimes in Australian cafes, you're lucky to get a glass of water. And when you do ask for one, they say, yeah, the jug's over there. Amazing, so just going that little bit extra. Another one, I had to get a SIM card for my phone, which on the first day, which was subsequently snatched from my hands on the 5th day. Not happy, Jan, about that, but yeah, I had my phone snatched from my hands. That's another story. Marketing lesson or life lesson: don't stand on the street corner looking down at your phone because someone will drive past on a bike and snatch it. But I did have to get a SIM card on the first day while I was over there. Went and asked the person, one of the concierge at the hotel, who just went out and said, look, I thought I'm going to have to get out, go and buy it, activate it, do all that type of stuff. They said, we will go and buy it for you. We will activate it for you. Now, you could say, well, you're staying at a fancy hotel and so they should. But the fact is, the Vietnamese people were very, very helpful no matter what you wanted to do. And then you could say, oh, well, there's lots of them and they need the work. Well, it's not the case. They just were happy to go that extra 1%. And boy, does it make a difference to the offering. So 1%ers, what are the 1%ers that you can be offering in your business? Marketing lesson number 2 from Saigon. Reduce the amount of products and services you offer. When I go overseas, I love to come back with presents for the family, just a nice thing to do. But every time I went out, the offerings were just so insurmountable. You go to any shop and there were 50,000 t-shirts, or another shop and there were 60,000 of this. It's like, oh my God, how do I choose? It is too hard to choose. And it just reminds me that I think what we need to do is become really, really accurate almost in the products and the services that we offer. Because as human beings, I'm not sure we like choice as much as we think we do. I think we like it when someone says, this is the one that you need. Yeah. So to that point, marketing lesson number 3 is do one thing exceptionally well. One thing exceptionally well. I went each night and had a drink with my newfound Vietnamese friends at a place. I can't even pronounce the name of the street or the place. So sorry if you're kind of wanting to know where this place is. But more to the point, the lesson was that there was this little place in this really cool street in Saigon that what they did really well was serve beer. Right? It wasn't a madhouse. It was just like what this lady did was she put a row of chairs out along the footpath and onto the road. Yeah, onto the road. It was quite dangerous at times sitting there. About 3 rows deep, about 20 seats along each row. And she just gave you a wonderful opportunity to sit and watch the world go by and buy beer at a really good price. And that's what she did. Didn't do anything more. Didn't offer food. I think you could buy a mixed drink. Yeah, but it was just like she did one thing really, really well. And I just think there's power in that. There was no kind of decisions to be made. The only decision you had to make was where am I going to sit and which of the 5 beers that they sold am I going to buy? And again, so that plays into the fact that get your product offering really, really honed down and decide, because go back to these shops that were selling, not 50,000 t-shirts. That's a minor exaggeration, but they were selling hundreds of different t-shirts. And it's like, you know what? There's probably 3 or 4 t-shirts that they sell a lot of. So it's that old 80-20 principle that applies. So there's some marketing lessons from my time in Saigon. There's lots more. And, I was keeping a bit of a few notes in my iPhone as I went along. I had the old marketing radar on. But of course, having had it stolen, I've lost all that and didn't have it backed up. Fortunately, I had all my photos backed up straight up to the iCloud, so I didn't lose them. Lost the videos. The videos didn't upload to iCloud, which is a bit disappointing. But and I did say in last week's episode that I was going to use Vine, that new social media channel that I've come across. Saigon is way too crazy to be focusing on Vine. I think I probably would have had my phone stolen a lot sooner than if I had have been doing Vine, because I would have been holding it out in front of me, videoing all these things. So sorry, guys, didn't get around to putting up any Vine videos. Way too crazy, but did update Facebook as I went along, and I know people were enjoying that. That seeing my Vietnam experience through the eyes of my Facebook. All right. That is enough of that. My next overseas speaking experience is in Dubai in a couple of months' time. Really looking forward to that. Speaking in Sydney next week at a conference at the Sydney Convention Centre. So lots of stuff going on there. We'll share my journeys and the marketing lessons from them as we go. Okay, guys, another episode of Funny Business is upon us. Andrew Griffiths and I. Andrew's the most celebrated, most prolific small business author in the country. Him and I get together every few weeks and rattle off some funny business ideas and thoughts that are on our collective minds. Today, I share a Scoopon experience that I had recently. We talk about embarrassing typos when spell check goes wrong. Oh, warning signs there. The best client is an existing client Or is it? And why the comfort zone is a dangerous place for small business owners to be operating in. And we talk about a 70-20-10 principle that may help you get out of that comfort zone and get out and do some stuff that maybe you hadn't thought of previously. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to another episode of Funny Business. Welcome back, listeners, to, I think this is episode 6 of Funny Business. And I am one of the, I was going to say funny guys, but I'm one of the hosts, Timbo Reid, and right there is Griffo. G'day, Griffo.
G'day, mate. Yes, you're definitely funny. It all depends on your definition of funny, really, doesn't it?
Correct. That is absolutely correct. Now, have you got your collar on? We just spoke about putting a 35-minute kind of timing on this, and I thought, I'll give you one of those collars. When dogs bark and they get an electric shock?
But it takes you and I 35 minutes. That's just hello.
Correct.
So this whole episode is just really going to be hello between you and I, isn't it? Okay. We're firing. Go.
Yeah, correct. Now, mate, plenty to talk about today. I've just had a funny experience with one of those daily deal sites, which I'll share with you. I want to talk about embarrassing text typos. When spell check just lets you down. I think that can be often end in surprising ways. You've got some stuff about the best client's an existing client, the comfort zone, investing in ourselves, mate. We have got a lot to cover, so
I know.
Let's get stuck into it. Suffice to say, what have you been up to? Because I noticed you've been giving away one of my favourite books of yours, The Me Myth, recently on Amazon.
Mate, I decided that it was a great opportunity to do a free giveaway, and I've seen people do this kind of stuff, and I'm a big fan of sharing your information, sharing your knowledge, doing that kind of stuff, and it's amazing what comes back your way. So I did a 5-day giveaway on Amazon Kindle, and I think it was in day 3 or 4, and we're up to 2,000 people have downloaded it already, which is, I think, quite astronomical, really. But it's interesting how it works, the feedback you get, but also what you generate out of it. I didn't necessarily do it to generate business. I did it. It's good branding, gets my message out there, gets 2,000, 3,000 more people reading my book and sharing my messages. But it's amazing. I've had keynote inquiries. I've had interview inquiries from all around the world around this. I've had coach. Oh, absolutely. The people have downloaded it and read it straight away in one sitting. Wonderful feedback from all different areas, and it just reinforces to me that whole concept of you got to give to get sometimes, or that's my kind of take on it. It's been a very interesting exercise for me.
Interesting, because I know there's a lot of, whenever I talk about this stuff, when I'm giving a marketing presentation, people, how can you give away too much? And we've covered this in previous episodes of Funny Business, but I'm chuffed to hear that as a result of you being so generous, that it's coming back in spades in terms of inquiry, and so it should. How do you go about promoting that? Because I think I came across it. You might have sent it out to your list, and I might have seen it on Facebook. How did you get the word out?
Well, interestingly enough, if you do a free offer on Kindle of your book, there's about 1,000 sites that will promote it as well, of course.
Wow.
So which is really interesting from that perspective. A lot of them are crappy, and a lot of them are just kind of strange people that have got way too much time on their hands. But a lot of them are actually also very good too. So you can promote your book and say, hey, I'm giving my book away. It's going to be free. It's on Kindle, and they'll evaluate it and decide if they'll promote it to their list, which is big. I did it through my database, as you suggested there, which is about 5,000 people. I did it on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on all the I really drove it with social media. Facebook was what drove it, and the result has been quite extraordinary. I mean, I don't know how many I expected for people to download, or how many people would, but to be in the thousands is quite phenomenal, really, when there's so many free books available. And it's been in the top 5 of free books on Kindle for the last 3 or 4 days. So it's interesting to see how that really does evolve. First time I've done it, and it's certainly something I'm going to do with all of my books on a regular basis.
Good on you, mate. Well, it's a ripper book. By the time this episode goes to air, that freebie will have finished. But head over to what's the website where people could sign up if they wanted to just kind of stay on top of what it is you've got to give, Griffo?
Just go to my Andrew Griffiths website, andrewgriffiths.com.au, and they sign up to my business bulletin, and I always update everyone about what's happening in there, Tim.
Yeah, love it, mate. One of the things for me of late is that I am thoroughly enjoying interacting with my listeners. You know, I put together this show. Okay. Put together this show 3.5 years ago, and it took a while, but now I've got a couple of things in place. As listeners know, I've got my Small Business Big Marketing Forum and my Deep Dive Mastermind. And the forum in particular, mate, it's interesting. What I'm seeing is I'm just reminded that all of us small business owners are struggling with the same issues, particularly around marketing, because that's what the forum's about and that's what the show's about. But lack of time, money, and knowledge, Griffo. And what I'm seeing and what I love about the forum and what I love about the mastermind is people are interacting and sharing and supporting and encouraging everyone along. And I think we need a lot of that.
What kind of questions are you getting asked? You know, I mean, you've been marketing for a long time. And the questions, me too, the questions I was asked 10 years ago are completely different to the questions I was asked 5 years ago, and they're completely different to the questions I'm asked today.
Look, the questions, it's interesting, the questions that I'm getting asked and the questions that are not being asked that should be asked. And first of all, what I am seeing is that finally the social media discussion is quietening down, and it's not going away. It's just being replaced by the content marketing discussion. And so people are realizing that, wow, I can do audio, I can do video, I can do blogging, I can use images of my products in ways like all over the place. And so there's a whole discussion around how. People want to know how they can do all that. So we cover a lot of that. I'm also, the big question that's not being asked that should be asked is still around message. It's still too many people are saying, how do I get my website optimized? How do I create an ad in the local paper that's going to rock it? How do I optimize my networking abilities? How do I public speak? You know, well, how is get your message right first? And so I'm finding spending a lot of time talking about that type of stuff. But you know, I guess I'm glad the social media, maybe it's just me, but the social media discussion was around for way too long. And, you know, got to be on Twitter, got to be on Facebook, got to be on this, got to be on that. It's like, guys, get over it. You know, there's, worry about what it is you've got to say. But,
it's all about the message, isn't it? You know, and ironically though, Tim, I don't think that's changed in thousands of years. You know, if you're the guy selling the dates at the Oasis in the Arabian desert, and there's 20 other people selling dates in the Arabian desert, your message is got to be, why are your dates better? You know, why should I buy your dates?
You're not even going there. That is the most bizarre analogy I've ever heard.
Well, it's just, you know, just trying to illustrate the point of going back. You know, you're heading to Dubai in a few months. You know, I'm just trying to set the scene for you, Timbo in the desert selling dates. But you know,
you love a good date, don't you?
I love a good date, mate. You know, you can never have too many dates. But I do.
Do you like a sticky date, Griffo?
I had homemade sticky date pudding with my auntie in Perth recently. If she's listening, thanks, Auntie Sue. It was fabulous.
She's very good at that.
And but it is, again, that to me is the whole point. Is you're right. Everyone's so obsessed with all the mechanics of what they're trying to do to market and promote and social media and websites, blah, 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 but they spend no time getting the message right. Now, I think that we start to look a bit homogenistic. Everything starts to look the same. No one's figuring out how to make themselves look different. If we can't look different, it's a waste of time.
Hey, now, Griffo, I'm going to segue in. Now, tell me whether you reckon this bloke has got his message right. I could be wrong here, but going to Sydney next week on a family holiday, going to do all the tourist things, blah, blah, blah. And the tight-ass Timbo in me has got onto some of these, you know, these group buying sites like Groupon and Deal of the Day and Scoopon, yeah?
Yeah, and perfect.
Having a sniff around, and I've got 3 kids, you know, want to make sure that I optimise my spend.
So you'll be doing the Sydney tour in the back of the 1973 Kingswood Ute.
Nothing wrong with a Kingswood Ute, Griffo. They are a lovely, lovely vehicle. Now, so anyway, I found one today, which I thought, gee, that's a really good one. Really nice restaurant. Oh, no, I can't. I've got to be careful here. I can't say who it is. Really nice restaurant. Offering spend $1, we'll give you 2, right? So it's a 2-for-1 voucher. Love it. But it's only for 4 people. So if you buy a $50 Scoopon voucher, they give you you can go and spend $100 at the restaurant, right?
Okay, yeah.
Good deal. but it's only for 4 people and I've got 5.
Well, one of them's got to sit outside, which of your kids don't you like very much?
Correct.
You know? I mean,
maybe
it's Darwinian.
Well, certainly what the company director of this business. So I've emailed the guy from Scoopon. The restaurant owner's email address is on the Scoopon ad, right? And I said, "G'day, mate." I used his name. "I'd like to purchase one of your Scoopon vouchers. However, I have a family of 5, and I noticed the voucher only covers 4. Can anything be done about this? Cheers, Timbo," and my phone number, right? And I'm thinking, I presumed he's just going to come back and go, "Timbo, that's fine, mate. No worries."
Yeah, right.
Would that be fair?
Well, I would have assumed the same thing.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so he comes back to me, and timely too, within 2 hours, which I thought was kind of nice. "Hello, didn't use my name. Sorry, as stated under fine print, bookings are to a maximum of 4 and no more. Kind regards, company director."
Was that Mr. or Mrs. Company Director? And he should really have a word to his parents about naming his company.
Yeah,
bloody
right.
Grandma Director and Grandpa Director have got a lot to answer for.
Correct.
Isn't that terrible? Isn't that?
Is it? Good, because I needed to check this. I haven't spoken to anyone since receiving that, and what is going on there? Now, look, I can go, okay, so it's for 4 people, and I don't want to rock your boat, but there was an opportunity there, wasn't there, to kind of say, look, come and try our delicious something, or, come along anyway and use my name and we'll give you 10% for the 5th. I don't know. I was expecting something.
Just use your name at least in the email.
Yeah,
just
that's right.
Even do something like that. But isn't that amazing how, that to me is just such a golden opportunity that's just turned into a disaster. You look at it and go, really? And what would it have cost him, honestly, for the effort of him saying, look, just one extra person, who cares? Does it really matter? Policy Nazis, that's our policy. We don't do anything else because that's our policy. That means we don't have to think anymore because we've got a policy that we can hide behind, and then we can use it to just piss people off. I went into a restaurant in the Blue Mountains, which again I won't name, a while back, and as I walked into this place, double doors, it was a Chinese restaurant, and it was page after page of policies about all the things that you couldn't do on these doors as you walked in. Like, it was really like setting the scene. You'll come in, you'll sit down, you'll eat, you'll shut up, you'll pay, and then you'll leave. Well, split this, and you can't order that, you can't change this, you can't do this, and it's like, wow, it's going to be a blast.
I do think restaurants are an interesting case study from a marketing perspective. I don't know, this don't split the bill, this 10% surcharge. I went to one the other day on a public holiday. It was a 25% surcharge because of the pay rates going up. I don't know. Look, I kind of get it, and I guess if I was the restaurant owner, I'd be going, geez, and the guy said, mate, I'm paying the guy behind the bar $43 an hour today. And I go, that does hurt. Okay. But I wonder whether they should kind of stretch that across the year so that, it doesn't kind of impact in such a big way on one day. But I don't know, mate. Maybe as business owners, we do sometimes miss golden opportunities to engage, to wow. I posted a photo on the Small Business Big Marketing Facebook the other day. A mate of mine stayed at the Langham Hotel. He had his car valet parked. They bring it up the next morning, and there in his little drink holder is a lovely bottle of water, which had a nice little collar, a branded collar on it saying "One for the Road." And I put it on Facebook. It got something like 80 likes, like some extraordinary amount of shares, which just said to me, people like that stuff. It's the 1%ers.
It's the little things. I think we mentioned on the show there's a motel in Rockhampton that what you do, you pull into this Rockhampton, they clean your windscreen overnight.
Love it.
Get up in the morning and you go, you see, every business, to me, the essence of every single person listening to this show is you got to come up with that. Yeah. You got to come up with your windscreen cleaning thing, your bottle of water, your whatever it is, and it's got to be really, really smart. It's got to be clever. It's got to be generous. It's got to be all those things, and you'll get people raving about it all over the flaming planet. Yeah. The problem is that the people have this belief that what it's costing me. Well, you can't give away a bottle of water. It's costing $1. You go, well, but what's it making you? Where's your emphasis? If it's all about cost, those kind of businesses, I think, rarely make it, because that is what they're all about, is expense, not about, generating revenue, generating goodwill, generating people raving about you. I hate mean businesses, and that's a tough thing to say, but that is my pet hate in the world of the business that's too mean. Like, you ask for a sugar and they'll say to you, how many grains would you like? Because we're hoarding it.
If it comes to that, can you just make sure you record it and we can put it on the show? Hey, now I'm going to move on because,
sure, 35 minutes. We're going to stick to deadline.
We are going to stick to deadline, so that means we don't cover most of the topics, but hopefully there's been very... Hey, Griff, I got given over Christmas time a wonderful book called Just My Typo by a client, right? And
what were they trying to say?
Yeah, exactly right. And it's one of those books that it celebrates, how could I describe it? When you're texting, when spell check lets you down, and you just go, oh, geez, I just sent that and look what I did. I should have checked it. And it's just got example after example after example. Now, I want to share a couple of things. One is I sent a text to the client thanking them for the book, right? And the text...
I can see where this is going.
And I purposely did a typo on it. And the text read, I want to wank you so much for the book.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
The client never responded. I know.
Is this an R-rated show?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say things like that?
Podcast, it's just podcast. We live in happy land. And everything's open slather.
By the sound of things, yes.
Yes. Well, we'll just we'll rewind that, Griffo, if I've upset you in any way. But look, I thought I was being pretty funny. I want to wank you very much, and I obviously meant thank you very much. I should never have to explain my jokes, but for you, I will. But I never heard back from them, and I just wonder whether they forgot what they gave me. Or I've completely I have spoken to that client subsequently.
Was there any discussion about the book at all?
No, there wasn't. But it was kind of like, it was just kind of there wasn't the time or the opportunity to do that. Let me give you a couple of other exampple in this book because it's pretty funny. It is actually really funny.
Bit of awkward silence from my end of the line here, which says it all, really, Timbo.
Correct. Here's some funny ones. This is a text, and I guess they're all real. I mean, I don't know how they capture these, but this is a series of texts. On my way, leaving the hairdressers now. Okay, how'd it go? Great. I got a blowjob at the last minute. Out. A blowout. Not the other thing. I didn't know they offered that service. And here's another one. I can't find the Jews to... I love getting the giggles. Haven't got the giggles for a while. I can't find the Jews to open the supply cabinet. Do you know where they are? I don't know about the Jews, but the keys are on my desk. Oh, silly. And there's just lots of that. There's some very rude ones. But have you ever been, I'm putting you on the spot here, don't expect you to remember any situations, but have you ever been let down by spell check?
I'm a atrocious speller. Everyone thinks because I write books that I'm, really good at writing and really good at spelling and really good at grammar, and I'm just so not. But no, but what I'm sure I have been let down. I can't remember being let down, but what I have been let down by with a phone malfunction is sending the wrong message to the wrong person. And I sent to my biggest client, my partner at the time. We'd had a lovely night, and I sent a very loving SMS to her and a little bit descriptive about the night before, and I sent it to the CEO of my biggest company, my biggest client that I work for, and he very kindly sent an SMS back saying, "Andrew, I love you lots, and I wish I was there last night." And I thought, thank good. I had no idea when I got this text back from him going, "What's he talking about?" And I've just gone, "Oh no! Oh, don't tell me I did that. Don't tell me I did that."
And the business lesson there is develop wonderful relationships with your clients that go beyond business so that you can have fun conversations and make mistakes at some point in time.
And we still laugh about it to this day. And every once in a while, he'll send me a nice little text saying, "Andrew, do you still love me?" And we have that little joke, which now is just starting to get a little bit weird. And, things could have turned a little bit strange, but we'll move on. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Griffo,
Okay.
Now, listen, I am going to call time, not just yet. I'm going to give you because pretty much we've covered every one of the topics we've covered has been mine. So I'd love you to just kind of round this show out with some final funny business. What do you got, mate?
Well, I want to kind of raise the level a bit too.
Here
Obviously, this has been a bit of a gutterish kind of funny business.
Oh,
we've been in the gutter a bit. We've been a bit bloody. It's been a bit R-rated. We haven't done an R-rated funny business before, so
I'll give you R-rated. Don't worry about that.
I'm getting used to it. I want to talk a bit about the comfort zone, and this is something that I encounter in businesses, and they come along, and in certain industries, I see it a lot. In financial planning, I'm going to put it out there and say financial planners a lot of the time been successful. It's been a big business. All of a sudden, they're forced to change, but I don't really want to change. Or people have been in business maybe for 5 or 10 years. Business is good. Comfort zone. And it's a difficult thing. I mean, you encounter businesses that are like this, and particularly at the moment with the world is changing and all the things that we talk about. My point here is it's a dangerous place to be. But I mean, how do you get people out of the comfort zone? How do you?
Yeah.
You know, that's really the moral to the story that I'm trying to ask here is, like, if you see a business that needs some help, but the problem is they know they need to change, but they're kind of too comfortable. What do you do to kind of rattle the cage enough to get them to change?
Yeah, good point. And listeners, if you're sitting there going, it would be, would you have the courage to admit that you're too comfortable when things are going so well? Because why rock the boat?
Well, an interesting thing, we start to tell things to ourselves. We start to tell ourselves stories, I believe. Where I'm coming from here is I was doing some work, ironically, with a restaurant. And this restaurant is it turned over a lot of money. It's not this bloke
from Scoopon, is it?
No, I don't think so. It could be. But the problem is that they're not making any profit. So they're turning over about $1.5 million a year, which is a lot of money, but they're not making any real money. It's just, they're turning over a lot, but they should be making quite a lot of profit out of that, but they're not really. But they're comfortable where they're at. They're making enough and all the rest of it. And what I see is their growing frustration that they're not making enough, but they're not prepared to do what they need to do to change it so that their business is more profitable. What I mean by this is they have way too many staff, but their staff, they say, well, we can't get rid of them because we need all of those people. And I go, well, do you really, or are you comfortable having all of those people there? Because if you don't have them, well, you'll need to work harder. And they work 3 days a week in the restaurant, the husband and wife. Well, if you really want to make more money, you probably have to work 5 days a week in the restaurants. But we're used to 3 days a week. So, okay, so what it is, you want to make a pile more money, but you really aren't prepared to do what is needed to actually to make that extra dough. So your choice that you're left with is either accept it and just deal with it, or say to yourself, okay, I've got to make some hard decisions, whatever that might be.
Yep. Well, I'll give you a strategy. A strategy that I like, that I've used previously with myself and with clients, is where it's the 70-20-10 rule, right? 70-20-10. And I use this in regards to marketing. We get into the comfort zone of marketing where we just do the same old stuff time and time again. Got the website, got the brochure, got the letterbox drop, go to the networking functions, happy days. That's comfort zone stuff. And you kind of, you don't push yourself. But it's also what I'd call bread and butter stuff. So that lives in the 70% basket. Keep doing it. Tweak it by all means. Challenge it, up the ante, make it work better, but keep doing it. Then you've got the 20% basket, which is that stuff that's been tested. You've tried, you've tested it. It seems to work, but you haven't quite moved it into the 70% bread and butter basket. And then you've got the 10% basket, which is the risky testing ground stuff. And you should always have the 10%. You should always have something in the 10% basket where you go, you know what? This seems like a really silly idea, but gee, downside's low, upside, gee, if it worked, it'd be a whole new arm to my marketing. I'm going to give it a go. And when you do that, it's fun. B, it keeps you honest. C, you actually might hit on a winner. So 70-20-10, mate, that's how you can break out of the comfort zone.
Well, it's a good point. I think it's also things like we've got to challenge ourselves, or we've got to push ourselves. Sometimes it can be something as simple as moving an office around. Just going through the process of moving things around in an office is interesting. How even that can cause a little bit of removing a bit of a blockage. It's doing a training program. It's about sitting down and having a hard conversation with someone to say, well, I need to change things. I mean, I don't know. I just just I think it's complacency in business is a really dangerous thing when we live in a world which is so full of change. Adopting the things like social media, for example, and I know that we're all a bit tired about talking about it, but I see so many businesses, particularly in regional Australia, that still just go, oh, well, let's just whack an ad in the newspaper. Let's whack an ad on the radio, whack an ad on TV. And I've got to be honest and say, I think those mediums are starting to fail and starting to struggle. The way that we advertise and promote on those is so different and needs to be so different now as to what it was a few years ago. And that again means we've got to get out of our comfort zone in terms of what we're doing.
And can I tell you, and I reckon small businesses are always at the leading edge, but I can tell you, Coca-Cola are challenging their comfort zone right now. They've just launched a video, a two-part video. It goes for 20 minutes. And I don't know why they did it, because they're basically revealing their entire marketing strategy. But they're not saying that the 30-second commercial is entirely dead. But what they are saying is they're moving from a creative creation strategy to a content creation strategy. Coca-Cola are going to start creating content, and they're going to start relying more on user-generated content. And that's an example of one of the biggest companies in the world getting out of their comfort zone. So that's exciting days. Griffo, that is a very good topic. You kind of raised the bar probably a little bit too high. Do you think
that's my job here?
Yeah, well, it is. Someone's got to. Do you reckon the blokes selling dates in the Sahara, they're in their comfort zone, aren't they? Because that's just you said there were 20 of them.
Well, that's on a bad day. Some days there could be 50 of them in a little market stall. But again, though, they get too comfortable. You start taking your customers for granted. You got to have a competitive date advantage if you're in that marketplace. But isn't that the truth, though? What I see with businesses in the comfort zone, something that they do is that they all of a sudden they stop communicating with their clients, their customers, because they're in the comfort zone. They don't want to hear anything that's going to rock the comfort zone.
Tell it to the hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if I actually go out and start asking my customers what they think, they might actually say that they're not real happy, and then I'm going to have to do something. So that's another reason why this whole comfort zone thing, to me, it sets off all these kind of alarm bells. And I said when near enough becomes good enough, when you're looking around and going, okay, this business has a problem. I've got a lot of fire. I'll put a cracker under someone's butt. If they otherwise, it's a spiral. And the next zone after the comfort zone is normally the broke zone. That's where I see the downward slide, where you go from comfort, you're not prepared to change. If you're not prepared to change and adapt and learn new skills and try new things, a zero bank account is the next thing in line. Now, that's my experience. I don't know. Everyone else has had their own different views. The comfort zone's a nice place to be in, but it's a dangerous place to be in. So, yeah.
Griffo, we entered the comfort zone just then at the 40-minute mark or thereabouts. The collar that I sent you clearly isn't, the electric shock isn't strong enough.
I've only got 27 minutes, 31 seconds. I thought I was doing good. Yeah.
Maybe I hit, you know what I'm looking at? Quite funny. I'm looking at the Skype timing as opposed to the recording timing.
Yeah, we had a chat for 10 minutes. We've got another 10 minutes.
Oh, we've got bounds of time. No, let's keep it short. Griffo, you're an attractive man. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation of funny business with you.
It was X-rated funny business, so we need to put a warning on the site in case.
I reckon you're a bit of a prude. A bit of a prude is the word I'm looking for. You've got to, if you want to, we can do an X-rated. Although, unfortunately, with iTunes, what you used to be able to do with iTunes was you could tick a box that said this particular episode is explicit. Now you have to tick a box that says the entire show is explicit, which it isn't, because a lot of small business marketing is just good, clean marketing fun.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And we don't use words like wank, which, if I could beep it out, I would, but that would be far too technical. But sorry to tarnish your reputation.
I know. You do realise, though, of course, I am sitting here naked to record this, so everything is normal, really. It's just in line with the show.
Naked with a tie on. I love it.
Great chatting, mate, and nice to hear. Hope all of our listeners out there got something of some sense out of our funny business. I've certainly had lots of fun. That's all that matters, right?
That's exactly right. Show for you. Thank you, Griffo. Another episode of Funny Business comes to an end, listeners. You want to find out more? Well, go to what was that website of yours again?
andrewgriffiths.com.au.
Oh, that's it. And mine's Tim Reid, reid.com.au. And this has been another episode of the Small Business Marketing Show, which I hope and I know many of you love. I love it too. Until next time, see ya.
Yeah, I love it too. See you, mate. Be good. See you, folks.
Righto, team. I hope you enjoyed that episode, which I think is episode number 6 of Funny Business. AG will be back in the Small Business Big Marketing studio in about 4 or 5 weeks' time to continue the banter. If there's anything you'd like us to discuss, just hit me up at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Send me a voicemail or a message, and we would be happy to factor that in. Some great discussion going on in the Small Business Big Marketing forums in the last couple of weeks, just to name a few topics. We're talking about products or services that offer extreme value. We're talking about the most effective social media channels for your business. People are asking for reviews of their website, which I've been giving them. People are sharing their brand strategies based on a branding process that I share within the forum. There's lots of great training in there, guys. All the training that I create, yes, you can buy it individually or you can access it all in the Small Business Big Marketing Forum, and lots more discussion, a behind-the-scenes look at a presentation I gave recently, etc., 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 all in the spirit of getting your marketing turbocharged so that you pull in more inquiry, more customers. Great interviews coming up over the coming weeks, of course. And again, if there is someone that you would love me to interview, feel free to contact me through the smallbusinessbigmarketing.com website, because I'm always looking for interesting small business owners to interview who are cranking out some really interesting marketing that I can interrogate them on around the fireside. All right, enough of that. That is episode 134 of Australia's #1 marketing show. Thanks so much for being a part of it. May your marketing be great marketing. Thanks to the guys at Net Registry. Don't forget to call them if you want to up the ante on your online marketing. Until next time, I'm Timbo Reid. You are not, but you are a motivated business owner. See you next time.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reid. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.